Student politics isn't just a campus game, it is a training ground for real leadership. We dive into the past, assess the present, and hear the bold intention of what is coming. Good day, viewers, and welcome you to another exciting edition of the Hardboard Podcast, where we give you an in depth analysis from the world of politics, culture, entertainment, business, and education. My name is Lazarus Joshua, and on today's edition, we are diving into the world of politics, where we discuss student politics on campus with the theme pre-election, assessment, and intention. And our guest for today is Comrade Daniel Zabrang Bagai, popularly known as Dan B. He is the Treasurer National Association of University Students, Kaduna State Axis. Comrade, good to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let's dive into the conversation proper, Comrade. With the campaign and shifting of alliances happening, because we all know that elections, student election is around the corner. Do you think it's building a better political system or it's just game as usual?
Okay, when you say the campaign and shifting of allegiance, it depends on what purpose is those things happening. Let me give you an instance. If I am the campaign to a different group because of personal gain or because of personal interest, then it is going to be at the detriment of the system. Why? Because when we have a set of people who are just there for personal interest, it's going to affect the effectiveness of what they are supposed to be doing as leaders, which is supposed to be for the interest of the students. So basically, the camping is a normal thing. It happens everywhere, even in the wider world. People they come from parties, APC to PDP, PDP to APC, ADC, and all that, all what have you. So it's a normal thing, but it depends on why are you the campaign. If I'm the campaign, I should know that the person I'm going to meet is somebody that has integrity, who has shown that he is out for the interests of the students, who has shown apathy in respect to the predicaments that are happening around the school in relation to the student issue. So basically the campaign is not a problem, but
But most times, when we look at the issue of the campaign,
yes.
you find out that in as much as that particular group you were in before the campaign doesn't favor you at that period, you see people, you see politicians, the campaign to
Another party.
shifting towards another party that they feel is going to protect their own interest.
Interest. And like I said, interest, it depends on the kind of interest you have. There are people who move to a party or a group of people that they have like minds based on the fact that they have a bad interest. And so where they are going to is going to fuel the bad interest that they have. They will go there. But for somebody who knows what he stands for and he knows that this place I am is for the good of the people, I will definitely be there. Or if he has bad intentions and where he is not a place where bad intentions are being supported, he will definitely come.
But comrade, however,
Yeah.
you look at this issue of you are in a particular camp, and camp A, when you are in camp A, you usually criticize camp B. Then all of a sudden you decamp to from A to B and you become a saint in that particular camp.
Maybe you are not being sincere.
But you said you made mention of depends on the interest now.
Yes.
So are you saying the interest changes?
Yes, it does. It does change. Like I said, like I told you, it depends on the interest. If I, like for example, let me use myself for example. If I'm in a camp A, and along the line things go wrong, and I'm not happy with what camp A is doing. If I cannot change what is happening there, I will leave. I will leave the place. But if I feel that I can still change something about it, I'll stay there and we'll work together.
But 90% we find out that this shifting of alliances is basically for personal interest.
A lot of them, a lot of people change for personal interest, not because they have any good intention. So like, basically, if I want to change from a particular party like A to B, it has to do with whether my interest is going to be protected in A or in B. So definitely people will change party. But like I told you, it's not really, for me, the campaign is not really the best line of action to do. I feel people should look inwardly. There are issues. If there are issues within that camp, try to see how, as a person, you can influence those changes. Make sure that things happen positively.
So
you
you are
know.
saying that the camping doesn't really give shape a better political
No,
system.
for me, it does not. If we cannot change it is when it cannot, the issues within that particular camp cannot be addressed. I will give you an example. In the last election we had in FAMSA, there are two parties, right? We had the team Abdul Razak, which was the party at that particular time. There was no other opponent, and some of us supported a lot of us supported him because number one, he was the only candidate, and secondly, we had this impression that okay, this person is actually coming for something good. Not until another candidate came, and there was shift in alignment. Why? Because of interest. Some of us, after we had our first experience with the second candidate, I had to ask myself questions. I decided to go to the first candidate and ask him, what do you have for us? What are those things? What are you aligning for? And I discovered that a lot of them are just there because they
When you
feel,
said, what do you have for us? Are you
yes,
saying, what do they have for you as an individual or as the larger society or the
the,
larger
it
community
has,
at the faculty level?
okay, for me, it has always been for the larger society.
Okay, because when you
Yes.
say for us,
Okay. Let me rephrase. What do you have for the students?
exactly.
Basically, and right until I left that place, nobody told me what there was, the intentions that was going to be done for the student. But when I met the other candidate, the person spelled out everything in black and white. And at that point, I had to meet him. I told him, I said, sorry, this is politics. If I cannot align with you, if I cannot work together with you, there cannot be an alignment. So I shifted my position. But I had to tell him because he's somebody he's a close friend. I told him it has nothing to do with his personality. It's not out of personal interest. It's basically because of ideologies. Yeah.
So, comrade, let's look at the student community is beginning to gear up for the next students' union election.
Hmm.
Looking back, how would you rate the current administration performance? What have they been able to do well? What have they not been able to do well? Example, looking at the FANSA, that is the Faculty of Management Science Student Association, which you are part of, and also the two Apex Union or the two major strong union we know in Kaduna State University, the likes of Katsu and the Student Representative Council.
Okay. Um, Looking back, I believe that every election has its challenges. There has never been any perfect election, and there are a lot of issues. Definitely, whether it is an online election or it is a physical election, there will definitely be uh, issues. But then we cannot run away from the fact that whether we like it or not, it all boils down to interest. Like I told you, if I have interest in a particular candidate, whether or not the person has the capacity, the people will do everything they can in order to see that that person comes into power, irrespective of how the process goes. So like, but looking back at the election that happened in FAMSA, for me, I was an agent. I was not in the out. I was not on the field. I was not in the voting process. I was an agent. I only witnessed how the voting went. There were calls from different people that came. About I think 2 or 3 people called to say that they were voted for. And one of the members from the other party also came and said that people called and said they were voted for. I voted. I voted, and so many other people voted. You know. So, but if you look at the percentage range of discrepancies, you need to ask yourself: is it enough to say that an election is credible or not? If only 2% of people are saying that the election is not credible, is that enough percentage to say that an election is not credible? So basically, if the margin is wide, I feel those are just little things that could actually cause 1 or 2 challenges or discrepancies in an election. It is a normal thing to have discrepancies.
So let's look at the post-election now.
Yes,
After election and inauguration,
yes.
how would you assess the the leadership of that administration
Okay.
compared to the past administration?
Um, Sorry, before I get to that, I wanted to also say something about the other elections that took place. You know, we had not just the FAMSA election, we had
Yes.
elections that took place in sciences.
Yes.
If you look at that election, you can see that there are a lot of discrepancies, obvious discrepancies, basically. So elections will definitely have challenges. So just I just wanted to also take note of that.
Okay.
Okay, now back to your question. Uh, Current administration. Like I said from the beginning, I said there is no administration that will not have challenges. Every administration probably did their own based on the capacity that they have or the reach of what they can do as leaders. But we cannot run away from the fact that just a few of them has shown commitment in serving the interests of the students.
Really.
Yeah, just very few of them has actually shown interest in serving the interests of the students. Some people are just there as figureheads. Some are just there for portfolio sake, increase portfolio. Tomorrow, I should be addressed as the former president or former secretary or former speaker or former senate president, whatever office you can say it. You understand? So basically, very few of them has shown commitment in serving the interest of the student. But basically, it's a normal thing, you know. But compared to the last administration, you can't compare. You can't compare the last administration to this particular administration. I saw a lot of more commitment in the last administration. Basically, this administration has done a lot. We cannot run away from it. We cannot run away
Give
from it.
us example of what they've done.
One of the things, prominent things I can say is the Castle Fun Fair that
Okay.
took place. For the first time in my experience or my observation, where I saw Katsu Katsu and the SRC come together, which has been something I've been praying for.
So your
Where,
prayer has come to
yes,
pass.
it did. It came to pass. Why? Because all this while, one of the things I have been clamoring for is to see where the relationship between the Apex Association and other associations will come together and do a program. You understand? So the fun fair took place, and if you look at the size of the fun fair, you discover that it was a very big event.
Really.
Yes, we had a larger number of vendors who came. It covered almost the whole of the field. You understand? So for me, if people put heads together, you do bigger things. So that's for me one. And then another thing is some of the entrepreneurship programs that were organized by Katsu Katsu. We actually tried in organizing some events that helped in building the cyberspace of awareness of CASU students uh, digitally.
Okay.
Digitalization is something that's come to stay. And basically, these are the kind of things that we want to be seeing happening, where students are being enlightened, being told about what they need to do in the digital world, creating awareness and all that.
But talking about the FANSA now,
Yes.
can you give us some of the projects, either physical project or human capital development they've done at the faculty level? Because there are people that will say, okay, since the inauguration, there have been issue of rumors of hijacking of events and all of that, or hijacking of certain project that the administration wants to run and all of that.
Okay. Well, for like you saw, if you are aware, there has been a lot of back and forth in supremacy in FAMSA, who should be the president. Even after the election had concluded, you know, the other parties felt okay, this election was not credible, so it had to be cancelled.
So are you saying there was no verdict given by the student affairs division, because obviously it's the highest,
There was
it is the
there
highest body that decides who
Yes,
is the
yes.
president.
There was a conclusion, and the conclusion was that the result of the election that took place should stand, which it stood. And then I think the inauguration was just done I think last month. This is September. I think it took place in around July or so, if I'm not
July, and the
mistaken.
administration is already rounding up.
Yes, and so far we've done programs in order to keep the association running. One of the programs we did was the movie night, which we organized. She also organized football inter departmental football competition where different departments played this thing, football, and then orientation was done for 100 level students in order to, even though it came a bit late, but I feel it's timely because the orientation took place just days to their exams, which was an opportunity to also orient their minds on the do's and don'ts when it comes to examination. And therefore, currently, we're working on a program. There are programs that we are actually planning for. Letters have been written.
Yeah.
But before the end of this week, flyers will be out for
Okay.
these events.
So, Comrade Daniel,
Yes, sir.
we've we are aware, and the audience too, or the general community is aware that you are a senator and you are also elected as a business director and a senator at the SRC parliament, and also as a business director as at the Katsu Executive Council.
Yeah.
What transpired, because there are certain rumors that have been flying up and down, that there is an impeachment at the SRC level, and also a resolution that you cannot hold two office at the Katsu. What do you have to say about that?
Okay. Let me start with Katsu Kasu. Um, I I want to say categorically that I've checked the constitution. Or let me put it this way. When I became the director of business Katsu Kasu, everything was moving fine, not until I joined the Student Representative Council as a senator
Senator representing,
representing my department,
that is,
business administration, a member senator representing my department.
okay.
And a letter came in from the ELCOM stating that I do not have, that I cannot hold two key offices. Key offices. And what is your definition of a key officer in a Senate? Which means I have to be a Senate president or a chief clerk or a deputy Senate president or chief whip and all other principal officers. That is a key office. But I was just a member senator. But they said that I cannot hold two key offices, which I felt was absurd because I've never heard or saw in the Constitution, because I read the Constitution. I may not know everything about the Constitution, but when I was preparing for election, I read. And when they said that, I drafted out a letter and I replied them and I said, sorry, if there was any part of the Constitution that said I cannot do that, please enlighten me. And I promise you, I will step down without
And
wasting
there is
time.
no place that is stated in the
There
constitution
is no
that
place.
either the that is the ILCOM
Yes.
can override the constitution in certain
They
places.
do not have that right. Why did I say so? There's a section of the Constitution that says they have the right to add additional rules. I can't remember this past section of the Constitution by head, but I can tell you that it says that they have the right to add additional rules and regulations before and during elections. But elections had ended. I won my seat. Even if it was unopposed, it was still a win for me. I was not appointed, I was elected. So if there was anybody that had the right to change anything about my office, it is the Senate, that is the student, the representative council of the Katsu Council. That is where,
So let's come back to the SRC now.
yeah,
There are rumors that you've been impeached as a senator. There are sagas of that. How true is that?
it's not a rumor.
But we haven't seen any official statements.
Well, that is because they know why they have not released an official statement, which I don't know. But I can tell you this, that impeachment was illegal.
How do you say so?
Good. Now, when I got that letter for uh, myself to be presented at the Senate sitting, I got that letter in less than 24 hours. But according to the Senate, there's a booklet we use at the Senate Parliament, at the Parliament. I'm trying to remember the name. I think it has to do with the order of sitting of the Parliament. It says that any senator who is going to be invited for any sitting or for any investigation, whatever, must be given 72 hours notice. It was not even up to 72 hours.
That's 3 days.
That's 3 days. And that letter came. They had already done investigation before they called me. And you're investigating a senator without the senator being part of the investigation. You're only calling him to come and ask him questions about what happened.
What led to the issue of you being impeached?
All right. One of the things was that according to the letters they sent, that I wrote a letter to the state government condemning the brutal act that has to do with harassment of our students, some of our students that are living in Meguro, Kaji axis. At that time, I didn't even know that there was a joint task force between the security agencies that was put together. It was just somebody that called me and said, see, oh, this was happening. I think we're writing exam at that period. So I decided to write a letter. And then I called on the state government. I said, please, let them investigate these things. These are things that we are hearing. It looks as if they have been targeting of students. So let the government investigate it. We're not accusing anybody. What we are saying is that if these things are true, the government should investigate it and see that those people are put to book or called to order. That's one. Secondly, I wrote a letter to the management through the office of the Student Affairs Division, and I said that some of our 100 level, a lot of them who I've met, complain that they are paying exorbitant monies at the cafes to do biodata. Some said they pay 3,000, 3,500. Some even said 4,000 naira, which is very, very absurd. According to them, they claim that why didn't I come to uh, them first?
But let's look at writing a letter to the Student Affairs Division.
Yes.
If you are a senator, does the Constitution forbids you to write a letter as a student and also as a senator?
Well, I've not seen anywhere in the Constitution that forbids me from writing a letter as a senator. I've not seen until today. They have not shown me.
So what were their reasons? What were the reasons given that you wrote the letter and
They said that I do not have the right. That every letter, whatever I'm doing, it must go through the Senate president first before, and the Senate has to approve every letter that I am going to do. That the Senate has to, I must get approval from the Senate. Basically. But the point the point I'm driving at is not even about me writing a letter and not going through the Senate or getting approval from the Senate. There's a personal interest, and this is why I'm saying this. You are doing an impeachment, and we have 36 senators, and just about 8 to 10 senators came to do impeachment, and it still stood. My brother, let's tell ourselves the truth. In a Senate sitting, you must have 1/3 of the senators saying that this person should be impeached. And even if you are impeaching somebody, it must be on a credible grounds. It must be on credible grounds. So if you are doing impeachment, is impeachment just something you just do just like that? No. Even Senator Natasha, the confrontational issue that happened between her and Fabio, she was not impeached. It probably should have been something she should have been impeached, but she was suspended.
so you are feeling you are saying if Senator Natasha was to be in the student representative parliament in council, she will be impeached.
Well, they will still impeach her because why? They only came to impeach. When, in fact, let me tell you something, sir. You see, like I said, there are interests, and well, I don't care where the interest is coming from, but I know this that my impeachment was illegal, totally illegal, because even the investigation committee that came and read, you are reading, you are not even saying that the person should be suspended as a recommendation. Is direct impeachment. So what are you trying to do? You are trying to take the person out of the picture.
Is there the judicial council that look into things like this? And
There was no judicial council. They only came and read the letter. I don't know when they did that investigation. When did the committee sat down? When did they decide that I should be impeached? When did all these things happen?
so I see. I want to get something right.
Yes.
The Student Representative Council, does it have a judicial council? If it does, have you written to the SRC Judicial Council
There is no
stating,
judicial council in SRC. It is the
okay,
parliament that we have.
so they serve both as
Yes,
a lawmaking body and
yes.
also serve
The
as interpreting the law?
yes, that is what they
Wow,
do.
wow, this is getting
Yes.
interesting.
So
So, comrade, lastly, before we round up the show, are you planning to run for any position or just watching from afar?
well, um, I do have intention to run for office in the next election, and I'm doing that not because I want to have a portfolio. I'm doing that because there are a lot of issues surrounding leadership in council.
Yeah.
Yes. And why am I saying it? A lot of comrades today don't understand what leadership is all about.
So, do you feel like you understand the leadership?
I do to some extent. I think to the best of my knowledge, I understand who a leader is.
Okay.
Yes, I think I do to the best of my knowledge. I may not be perfect, but yes, I do have the understanding.
Them too, they
Now,
can claim that they also have that same knowledge to
and
an extent.
I will ask them, how do you do your selection? That's one
They can
question.
also ask you the same question.
Yes, I will tell them this is how I will do my selection. As a president or a leader or whatever capacity you are holding, one of the challenges I observe is that a lot of people want to be everywhere at the same time.
Okay.
As a president of a faculty or a department or whatever capacity, you want to be everywhere at the same time, and that is not supposed to be so. So, as a president, you should select people who can defend you, who can speak for you, who can relate your ideologies, your visions, even in your absence. And we have not seen many of that happening.
So you are saying it's lacking.
It's lacking. I should not be a president and I must be everywhere at the same time. I can decide to call my chief of staff, go and represent me. I'm supposed to have a meeting with Susu person. Go and represent me somewhere. And he should be able to do it. I should be able to call my secretary, go and represent me somewhere. I should be able to do it. So if we are selecting people, from the selection, you will know who is who.
So are you saying the previous administration or previous government that have passed, their selection was not based on merit or based on the ideology is not communicated
There are
well?
gaps in the relationship between some of the leaders and their administration, their officers within their executives. There are gaps. You understand? So, but I thank God for one particular this thing leadership, which is the Katsu Katsu. I appreciate
Okay.
him because he has tried
Okay.
in his selection. I've seen where his PRO has gone to uh, 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 speak for him in so many places. He does not need to be there for a PRO to be able to, and that is one of the responsibilities because the PRO represents or projects the image of the association.
Yes.
So if I am picking a PRO and the PRO cannot go and speak for me single-handedly, then why did I pick him as a PRO? So selection process is very important, and I feel that if I'm going to do selections for any office, I should be selecting people that I can say, you go and represent me in so place, and you'll be able to do it. And
Okay.
that's leadership for me.
Comrade Daniel, yet again, concerning this impeachment, what do you think, bearing the fact that the SRC president has a very huge uh, amount of power that he drags? What is his stand concerning what do you think his stand is concerning your impeachment?
I don't know because even when all that happened, he has never called me for one day to ask me questions. And I say this impeachment came because of some of the things that happened. I think a night before the letter for my call came, we had a back and forth with the president of the SRC and the Senate president of the SRC.
Okay.
And I wrote a letter, an open letter to them.
Okay.
And I told them, I said, you cannot silence me because the letter I wrote to the state government, I shared it in platforms and they removed it. When they deleted it, I told them, I said, I feel there's nothing wrong in calling me, even if I'm wrong as a senator and I make a mistake. You call me. Say, Mr. Senator, this you didn't do that, you just deleted it. So I was upset about it. And I wrote an open letter to them. I told them myself, no matter what you do, you cannot silence me. It does not, and all that. So the next day was when I received my letter that I'm being summoned for uh, investigation, whatever it is, that petitions were sent against me over so and so. There was a point they even said that I was undermining, disrupting the sitting process, that I was undermining other senators, talking about um, their educational qualifications, which for me was very absurd because the only person I know I have ever sat down to discuss about what they call it now, qualification, is the Senate President.
Okay.
Yes, which is everywhere. People, a lot of people know that she's in 200 level.
But does it matter? Does the constitution give a specification of level before you contest for the Senate?
You are venturing into another aspect. A constitution should be able to explain that as a president of a Senate president of an apex association, and shouldn't it be a student that is going to his final year that should be a Senate
No,
president?
I'm asking you, how is there any way that it states in the constitution that this this position has to
Mm.
be at this level before he or she can contest for it?
Well, they did not state it in this current constitution that was restructured, or what is that word they use?
I mean,
Amended. But in the previous one,
there was.
before it was amended, it stated that according to that constitution, that the specified level, it specified who and who should even contest for those offices.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about amendments, is there a specification of number of senators that deliberate for a constitution to be amended, or is something that few senators can just sit down and just decide, or the IL conquer can also just decide?
No, the amendment of constitution must first of all start from the sitting
Okay.
in a parliamentary sitting.
Is it the previous administration or the current administration?
The current
So it's
administration,
the current administration that can actually.
yes, we can actually write a letter. Then a committee will be set
Okay.
to do to check the constitution and see where it is applicable or where it can be amended. Basically, so not specifically senators that will come together to amend this. We can write that, okay, this constitution, this is how we feel it should be, or this and that. So senators can actually write and say, okay, this is how the constitution we
Were
want it
you,
to
were
be.
you there when the amendment was done and you coming out to uh, question the Senate
The
president qualification of being Senate, bearing the fact that the constitution has been amended? So,
Okay, I'm trying not to go too far in what I have to say because I have seen how SRC works in other institutions.
okay.
Yes, and SRC should have a single structure of constitution that
Mhm.
works, that it should work with.
So you are saying the Council SRC doesn't have.
The constitution there, I think the way and manner at which some of these things are being done is shows that the people who did the amendment had a personal interest.
Okay.
Yes, they had a personal interest.
Yeah, that is fine. Senator, thank you for having you on the show, and we hope to see you some other time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Remember, the change doesn't happen in silence. Speak up, show up, stay involved. Your voice is your power. Use it. Do well to follow us on all our social media handles at Hardball Media. Goodbye for now.